Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
A Metro Detroit community taking action after water testing came back with elevated lead levels. Officials in Harper Woods say samples from 4 out of 30 homes came back with lead levels above the action level of 15 parts per billion. Thanks for being with us. I'm Kimberly Gill.
I'm Devin Skillian. Off the top here at 11, let's get right to Jacqueline Francis live in Harper Woods tonight with what this means for residents. Jacqueline.
Devin and Kimberly, these elevated lead levels are similar to what Harper Woods saw when it did testing in 2019. Since then, the city has been working to replace the service lead lines, and they've also been testing every year. In the meantime, they want residents to know what kind of water is in their home and what it means for their health. Some water samples taken over the summer in Harper Woods came back with elevated lead levels. 4 of the 30 homes tested had actionable lead levels, according to officials. Specifically, 47 parts per billion, exceeding the action level of 15 parts per billion. This number triggers additional actions the city must take, including the continued testing of water quality and education outreach within the community, like handing out water filters, replacing lead service lines, and telling residents to flush their water for at least 30 seconds before use.
But I feel like they're being reactive as opposed to being proactive.
This Harper Woods mom recently hired someone to come out and test their water. She said the results were kind of tough to make sense of.
I didn't have the best results, but I was also told that the pipes had a lot to do with the water, not that it was bad coming out of the faucet. So this really raises a concern with me having school-aged kids with high-level, levels of lead in it, water.
Even before this latest alert from the city, she's been taking precautions.
Yes, we no longer drink the water from the faucet at all. So I go out and I buy water.
How inconvenient is that?
It's very inconvenient because for me it's still a concern because I'm cooking sometimes with the water.
Tomorrow and Friday, the city will be handing out water filters here at the Neighborhood Economic Development Center in Harper Woods from 2 to 7 p.m. Reporting live in Harper Woods, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
Keep watching this terribly important story. All right, Jacqueline.
National councils for GM and Stellantis are working their way to Detroit to vote on whether to move their deals to the membership. Mara McDonald is at Local 900 in Wayne tonight, where voting started today for Ford workers.
We've seen a lot of cars zooming in and out of Local 900. Workers excited to be a part of this vote, excited to be off the picket line. Expectation is that it is going to be ratified here, and they have until tomorrow to vote. One thing's for sure, workers are pleased to move off the picket line and into the ratification process.
We're very pleased to be voting on this right now because we all felt anxiety. We've never been through this before. I mean, last time the company was on strike was in 1976, and you're looking at 50 years later that there's another strike.
Voting has been brisk here at Local 900. The gains made in this tentative agreement are nothing short of historic for the membership.
People are excited to vote. They're happy they're not on strike anymore. The weather has changed, as we all know, so they're happy they're not on the picket lines and that we have a good agreement.
As Ford workers start their voting process, the UAW National Councils for General Motors and Stellantis are en route to Detroit as we speak. The Stellantis National Council will vote tomorrow on whether to send this tentative deal to the membership for a vote. GM's council will be in Detroit on Friday to go through the same process. This month-and-a-half-long strike is estimated to have cost the automakers nearly $3 billion. Under the assumption that the Stellantis Council moves this ahead, expect UAW Chief Sean Fain to address the membership sometime tomorrow afternoon. We're in Wayne. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right, Mara. New at 11, the man charged with killing 4 people, including several family members, is headed to prison. Prosecutors say Jonathan broke into his mother's home and murdered her. His girlfriend, his stepfather, murdered his girlfriend. This happened back in July of 2022 in Harper Woods. Prosecutors also charged him with a 4th murder after a body was found beaten to death in June of 2022. Today in court, a judge sentenced Jonathan Welch to 45 to 75 years in prison. prison. Former Oxford School Board member is reacting to the release of that long-awaited final report on the school shooting.
Former board treasurer Corey Bailey is sharing his thoughts on accountability. Bailey and former board president Tom Donnelly resigned last year over frustrations with how the shooting was being handled internally. Well, tonight, Bailey hopes the report will lead to changes in every district.
Every district needs to learn from this horrific lesson. Safety, threat assessments, and training can no longer be lost in the shuffle. It needs to be a constant and funded priority.
Guidepost will be holding 3 public meetings tomorrow on their final report, and next week there will be a listening session for the community.
Update on the story we were bringing you last night. We are getting a look now at the damage after fire ripped through this home in Bloomfield Hills yesterday. It ended up injuring 2 firefighters. This mansion sits on Lone Pine Road and Woodward. Fire investigators say there were heavy flames in the second floor attic. It took several hours to put the fire out. As I mentioned, 2 firefighters suffered injuries, though those were minor injuries and no one else was hurt. But the cause of the fire still under investigation tonight.
Dearborn's fire chief is formally charged with drunk driving. Police body cameras captured video of the arrest in Dearborn Heights August 29th. Officers say Joseph Murray was speeding and weaving in and out of traffic near Telegraph and Annapolis. It was around 2:45 in the morning. Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy has now charged Murray with 2 counts of operating while intoxicated. He'll face a judge for arraignment in December.
Another Local 4 News update. A guilty plea in federal court for Macomb County flight instructor charged with sexually assaulting a teenager. Prosecutors say Rex Phelps groped the 15-year-old girl during flight training at the Ray Community Airport. Phelps was a teacher at Dakota High School. He faces up to 2 years in prison. He also faces other state charges.
House of Representatives votes to table a Republican-led resolution to censure Michigan Democratic Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene introduced a censure resolution last week accusing Tlaib of anti-Semitic activity after she voiced concerns over America's continued role in supplying arms to Israel. A censure resolution is a punishment 1 step below expulsion from the House. The House rejected the motion to censure Tlaib in a 222 to 186 vote. Tlaib is the first Palestinian-American woman to serve in Congress.
President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden are expected to visit Lewiston, Maine on Friday of this week. That visit will, of course, come a week after the deadly mass shootings that left 18 people dead, 13 others injured. The gunman was found dead 2 days later from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. White House says the Bidens will pay their respects to the victims, meet with first responders, nurses, and others on the front lines there.
City of Detroit's first responders were recognized during tonight's Above and Beyond Awards. The ceremony took place at the Detroit Marriott at the Renaissance Center. It recognizes the city's police officers, firefighters, and EMS personnel for going above and beyond the call of duty. Members of the Detroit Police Department received the Medal of Valor Award.
Well, it's a very prestigious award. I'm excited. The training that we go through helped me to get here to this time. I'm just happy I can represent the department and my family and friends.
The Medal of Valor Award recognizes the best of the best for extreme bravery in the face of danger.
Michigan football is rolling out a new walk-through weapons detection system this weekend when the Wolverines host Purdue at the Big House. System is designed to improve safety at Michigan Stadium. It will eventually be used at the Chrysler Center, the Yost Ice Arena, other facilities at U of M. Gates open 2 hours before kickoff, and Saturday night that is 7:30 this week. Fans should arrive early to make sure they get their seats in time. A new merger could create the largest regional theme park chain in the U.S.
How about this? The Wall Street Journal reports Six Flags is nearing an agreement to merge with Cedar Fair Entertainment, the parent company for Cedar Point. Six Flags owns 27 parks in North America, all under the Six Flags name, while Cedar Fair owns, of course, Cedar Point, Michigan's Adventure, Knott's Berry Farm, Kings Island, and several other parks across the country. The deal could be finalized as soon as this week.
Yeah.